This Mazda 3 hatchback has Bluetooth, but you can only use it for phone calls, which means Helen cannot stream her music. So when I saw this new aftermarket radio on AliExpress that has Bluetooth and Apple CarPlay with an optional backup camera for less than $70, I figured, why not? Maybe Helen will finally let me keep this car. "2010 Mazda 3 hatchback. We are replacing the stock radio. The aftermarket radio that we got is from AliExpress for less than $70 with an optional camera. Now, I don't know how much it is now after tariffs because I bought this before tariffs. Anyway, here's all what came in the package. Let's start with a connector. It is plug and play, so there's no more cutting and splicing that's needed to be done. And it has the GPS antenna that you put on the dash so that you have GPS, although no one uses GPS on radios anymore. Usually you use your phone for GPS. Next, we have a pry tool to take out the AC and the radio later. Then the product manual for the camera and the wires for the camera. Now, instead of having the instruction manuals on how to install it, it comes with a QR code. So just scan the QR code and it will show you the different installations based on what vehicle you have. I'll show on the screen the browser where the QR code brings you to. Then more wiring harness for audio outs and audio in, as well as your mic input. And here's your mic. But I don't usually use the mic anyway on the radio because I don't like talking while driving, but we'll install it as well. And here's the new aftermarket radio. I'm actually surprised how slim it is. Technology really has gone a long way. I'm sure compared to the stock radio, this is bulky, and we're going to be replacing it with this aftermarket high-tech slim radio with a huge screen. So let's get to it. So to start removing the radio, we're going to start by removing the top center vent. So use your removal tool that came in your kit to slide in under the AC vent and pull it out. Right, pull. It's my first time removing this, so I'm being careful because I don't want to break any of the clips. Okay, so these are your clips holding it in place. Let me take out the connector, push down on the tab to release. There you go. Now there's a zip tie on the back that holds it in place. I guess we're just gonna put it on the side for now. Okay, bye-bye center vents. Now you have two Phillips screwdriver holding the radio in place. So use a Phillips head to remove it. Phillips head, screwdriver, and take out the screws. Screw one and screw two. Let me adjust the camera. So with the camera in a better position, we took out the two screws on top. Now we just have to pull the whole radio unit out. Now mine seems to be stuck somewhere, so you gotta pull harder. There you go. Okay. Yay. Now it has wiring harnesses at the back. Can't really show you because the wire is short. So you gotta feel it by hand and pull it out from the back. I can't even see it. Okay, there's one. You can use a screwdriver to press the tab that holds it in place and then pull the wiring harness. Ow! 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 So just a quick recap, since I wasn't able to capture it on camera. These are the 3 connectors. The first one on the left, you press on the side and pull. Middle one, you press here at the back. This is the locking tab to release it from the connector or the radio and pull. And the third one, you press it on the locking tab again and pull. Now, just because these are old, it's not as stiff anymore, so you might have a hard time pressing it and releasing it from the connector on the radio. So those are the 3 wires that you need to take off, and they're very short, so it's slightly a challenge to take them off. Now let's try to install the new radio. So these are the 2 radio harnesses, the main radio harness and optional harness if you have an amplifier or subwoofer in your system. Now I have to correct myself because there is some slight splicing that needs to be done. To install the camera, you need some power from the reverse so that it knows when to turn on the camera. Other than that, it's optional keys that you might have, security systems, and the amplifier. Like I said, if you have an optional or additional amplifier. Now, if you just want to focus on the radio, this one plugs and plays or plug and play on the OEM connector. There you go. So let's focus on this first and see if we can just turn on the radio. Now let's plug this at the back of the new aftermarket radio. There you go. Actually, let's see if it works. Oops, it's upside down. Look, it fits exactly on the slot. So let's turn it on just to see. Wow, it's fancy. Radio. Okay, so now is the time to go to the QR code and scan the QR code to see how to properly install this specific radio. So just a quick update on our aftermarket radio installation. Right now, I can't play any sound from the radio that we just installed. And even right now, I can put my Bluetooth on and it's not playing any sound. Now, this is supposed to be plug and play wiring harness, right? But I found a wire that's named AMP-C that's not connected to anywhere. So I decided to just power that wire and see it's playing music. So why would you even separate one wire to give us a hard time? Oh my goodness. Alright, let me stop my music because I don't want to get demonetized. Anyway, it's one wire that was causing all these problems. You could have just rewired this with your radio. So this is the amp wire that's not connected to anywhere. I guess you have to splice this yourself. So let me splice this with the accessory wire in the radio, then install everything, and hopefully we'll be back in business. So see you in a bit. So thanks to the internet, I found the accessory line. So this is the line that turns on when the accessory switch is on. So on the pin, it says that this is pin V. I will show on screen the diagram that I found. So I'm just showing this right now as reference. Of course, I'm gonna tape this properly. So pin V is in victory. For those who are still watching, my apologies. There's a glare on the screen and I can't seem to get rid of it. Now, another apology because installing the backup camera, it was complicated as there were so many options that I had to go through to find the correct settings for the camera. You have to go to your car settings, factory settings, and select the system that you have and the options for the camera. For example, this one has 8888 as the password. Then all these options that you have to go through. For example, the parameter settings, why is the reverse camera format there? Then you have to select NTSC PAL, whereas it was defaulted to AHD/25, which was messing up my camera. Then you have all these settings that you have to go through to get the correct format for your vehicle. All of those. It is so complicated. But let me show you that the camera is now working. Ta-da! It's huge. Display is huge. You have all the markers. I still don't know how to take this off or option out some of them. This doesn't have parking sensor, so it's still showing the default parking sensor image on the side. But again, you have to go through all of this settings to get the correct information for your vehicle. And let me see if I can remember where it is. Oh, and you have the device ports here, so it's confusing on how to correctly install some of the pins, especially because this is supposed to be plug and play. Some pins, like I showed you that the power amp wasn't installed, even though it's supposed to be plug and play. And where was the factory settings, car settings, setup into your car? This, I don't get it. You only have this as your information. And I can't seem to find the units. So it's still in kilometers per hour instead of miles per hour. It's still in metric system, not American system. Time, set clock. Let me do this again. Okay, protocol setting, is this it? Yep, on protocol setting, you select which CAN bus works with your system. For this vehicle, the Mazda, it's the Race software. Select Mazda, Mazda 3, and different programs, different vehicles, you can select it here. And you can even list updates. Let's try that. I didn't try that yet. Well, it's not working. Sorry. Anyway, so that's all the settings that you have. You gotta go through each of them because on the QR code it didn't really explain which is the specific ones that you need for your vehicle and what settings that you need to select to correctly work with your vehicle. You even have lock screen mode. Yeah, just please go through all of this. And if you're not patient with this, have an expert do it for you because it's really complicated. It took me actually 2 days to figure this out. And I still haven't figured everything out. Just like this one, it's still showing the metric system. And it's Monday because it thinks we're in Shanghai. And to add, if you selected your specific vehicle on the CAN bus on the Android, your steering wheel controls works. Here's an example. If I move this up, you'll see that it changes on the screen. I'll even up the volume, but for a short time because I don't want to get demonetized. See? So they all work. And all you have to do is make sure you select your specific vehicle on the CAN bus on the Android. Here's another pleasant surprise. I didn't know that when you open your door, it would show up on the head unit. Here, let me open the driver's side door. Ta-da! And when you close it, it disappears. Nice. And last but not the least, we're going to try to play a video on this head unit. So I uploaded a file on a USB drive and connected it and see if we can play it. With the handbrake on, you can actually watch videos on the head unit. And if you're watching this on the head unit, then that means we have successfully installed a new head unit on this 2010 Mazda 3 hatchback. There's our old radio. Thank you for watching.